The Blocktalk podcast started because of my passion for the property management industry. I wanted to start a conversation and add some value within the industry with a diverse range of people and professionals who can add something extra. As we start out, my aim is that the podcast offers some useful insight into a variety of views, opinions, thoughts, and foresights from our guests, who include business leaders and industry experts. If you enjoy the podcast and want to find out any other information, head on over to brianwelsh.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blocktalk podcast. Today we're speaking to Yen Ly Nguyen, Operations Manager at the Property Institute. Amongst her responsibilities, Yen organises the ACE Awards event, which is in the diary for the 21st of June, Friday this year. So we thought we would invite Yen on to tell us and talk about the event, and also give us an insight into other things that are coming up this year. Morning, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you very much for inviting me, Brian.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. We've had a few people on from the Property Institute before, and it's always very insightful information and the chat that we get. So, the ACE Awards was something that was of interest to obviously the CPL side of my life. So, can you just tell me how the preparation's going for this year's awards?
Yeah, it's going great. We've launched it earlier than usual because I think there's so much interest this year. People kept asking us when our tickets on sale, can we book a table now? So I actually booked manual tables for people who are far too keen. And then, people are like, they've got their entry ready and they're ready for the launch. So, we normally launch about third week of February, but we launched last week because we just said to the web guys that let's just get this out and get everybody onto the site and get their entries in. So, it's always something that, definitely our members look forward to a lot. They get that every year there's a theme going. So this year it's the Great Gatsby or, the Roaring Twenties. So once their entries in, the tickets are booked, all they have to look for is their outfit, look forward to their outfits.
Okay. So how many people do you get at the dinner each year?
So we're aiming sort of about 550 around that mark, but year on year, sometimes we get more, sometimes just about there, because I think the COVID year, when we came back out of COVID, I think it's 2022, I think the guest numbers dropped a little bit purely because people didn't want to be not comfortable being in those crowds again. But 2023 last year, we didn't have that problem. We had an extra 50 tickets sold. So year on year, I think the interest is growing. And the good thing about this event is it's purely for our members. There's lots of it, as you know, in the industry now, there's lots of different award ceremonies out there, but they celebrate sort of, across the board of the property industry, like estate agencies, lettings and things like that. So this award ceremony is purely just for our members, celebrating what they do day in, day out, for leaseholders and within the leasehold sector.
Okay. Fabulous. So, that's something I know a huge amount about, although we're getting involved this year. Can you tell us why the award started? So give me a bit of history.
Yes. So it came from our previous CEO, Arma's previous CEO, Nigel Glenn. He actually sat down one day and said, you know what, we don't actually have any awards that celebrate just our members. We're an industry just for property managers, and those, as you know, the sector's not regulated. So anybody who wants to become an ARMA member, it's totally voluntary. So they want something, that they can say, yes, we are doing it properly. We have checked with ARMA. They have our backing, and that's why they want to join ARMA. So the reason why, they now obviously soon to be TPI, the Property Institute, and, they make that effort, and we say, we need to celebrate just our members, somewhere that collectively they can come together, talk about the things they get up to, the things that, they've had to deal with. And as you know, with the Building Safety Act recently, it's hard work on our members. So it's one day that they could just let their hair down, enjoy it. It's great if they win an award. If not, they're amongst their peers. They can talk about their experiences. And that's why Nigel Glenn said, we don't have one just for our members. And so he literally gave us 6 months. He said, yeah, and how quickly could you put an award together? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's not kind of my area of expertise, but let's see how it goes. So So me and the at the time it was Sean Cahill, he was our marketing manager. So we just put our heads together and said, let's find a venue, let's get some categories out. And within 6 months we had an award ceremony. And the first award ceremony we attracted about 450 people, which I think it was a great achievement given that we've had 6 months to prepare it, and you need about 2 months to actually get the entries in, promote the event. So 450 people, I think it was a massive achievement. And, it was a great team effort. We pulled out all the stops and I think we delivered really well that year. And that's how it started. And then we had 2 years of that. And then obviously 2 years of COVID. And now we're into our 5th year.
Good, good. Actually, Nigel, I've spoken to Nigel a couple of times while I was here, but also the Property Managers Association Scotland just started doing awards a few years back. And Nigel was a judge on that with me a few years ago, and he was fabulous on it. Actually, he always is good. He's great, always great to chat to. So I guess have there been that was a phenomenal feat to do that in 6 months, especially if it's not your forte. Have you had any awkward or behind the scenes disasters that you want to share with us?
Well, the very first year we've had, so we had the venue we use is a lovely old sort of dockyard type venue at the Tackle Docks. And we because of the cobbles, there's us ladies with our heels or gentlemen with our heels. So we had a couple of falls. Being on a Friday night, yes, it was quite bad. So we had a couple of falls, and so we couldn't wait for the ambulance, and we had to send one in a taxi to the hospital, and the other one, I think the lady dislocated her knee, so she couldn't move at all. So we did wait for the ambulance, and it was it took about 3.5 hours to get to us, but everything was okay. We checked with the ladies afterwards. They had a great time, albeit they had a little accident. So little things like that. And I think we ran out of vodka from the vodka luge. We ran out of slushies. I think slushies went really, really well. And the worst thing is, I don't know how I do this, but I always choose a date, and it always seems to be the hottest day of the year. I think Nigel always has a joke about it. I think the first year it was 37 degrees. Even out in the heat, out in the dockyard, it was just too hot. So I guess men in their tuxedos, it wasn't great. So those are kind of like the behind the scenes things that you worry about. And, also the balloon arch, we recently had a balloon arch, and we can't put it outside because then the heat would burst the balloons. Lots of little things like that people kind of don't notice, but running out of slushy is not a good thing. But we keep topping it up all the time, and we buy more every single year, but it always seems to go. So that's kind of where the cues are. It's the slushy and the vodka luge.
Good. Sounds fabulous. I look forward to that. Yeah, I guess you are one day away from the longest day, aren't you? On the 21st of June. So likelihood is you get some decent weather. Actually, it makes me laugh, actually, because if you go to the Property Managers Association at dinner, obviously there's a huge amount of people in kilts. So I cannot imagine being in a kilt at 37 degrees. That would be awful. So I'll definitely grab my tux for that evening. That'd be brilliant. Let's talk about categories then. What are the categories, and have they grown over the years? Did you start off with a few and they've expanded, or where are you? What are they?
So we want to nail it down to those categories that mean a lot to our members and our partners. And so we generally don't go past sort of like 22 categories. I think the first year we had about 22 categories.
Okay.
And COVID year we had about 15, purely because people are not out and about in the streets as much, engaging with the residents. So we shrunk it down a little bit. But this year we've gone back up to 20 categories. Purely because the managing agent award, we normally have 4 categories that covers different size companies, but we realize that we're having more and more members, and also that the breakdown of how many units they actually manage is very different now. And so basically we split those into sort of a few of them we split into two. So we actually have 4 new managing agent categories. So different units. So say the first one is under 500 units. So before that was clumped into sort of like under the 1000s. But if you're a new member, you're kind of like competing slightly with more of the medium-sized companies when it goes above the 1000. So we just thought maybe we need to celebrate those small companies that was just started off. And daring to go into the industry, as we know, it's quite a minefield out there. And then you've got the Residential Engagement Initiative of the Year. That's a new one for this year. Again, we're always finding ways to engage with those people that really matter, those people that live in those homes that they, that's their, and a lot of people working from home now, and it's hybrid working, and they spend a lot more time in their home. So those resident engagement, very, very important, and how we get the message out to them, how we get the law out to them, because when you buy a leasehold flat, it's not easy to understand, all the jargons out there, or, they don't write them in layman's terms, the leases and things like that. So it's very important, that communication. And then the next one is Health and Safety Partner of the Year. Obviously, with the Building Safety Act, it's one we had to put in. It's health and safety. It's all about the health and safety since Grenfell, and it's all, and now the act's in there. And managing agents again have to learn new skills, new knowledge. So yeah, so we'll see how that performs as well. But we reckon that would be a popular one.
Yeah. No, I saw the split, and I saw the categories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how do you pick the winners then? Who gets involved?
So the winners are totally independent. Yes, as all the judges are listed on our website. But it's just we pick sort of professionals within our industry, who's been in the industry, who's seen a lot, who's done a lot, and across the board. So we've got media partners that will be judging as well, and also you've got different industries from. I think we've got one from. Like Flat Living magazine, who deals with lots of stories and news and things like that. So again, it's all those bodies that make up the wider leasehold family, but it's totally independent from us. And any conflicts, they'll obviously kind of tell us beforehand. They would not judge a category that they've entered, say if we've invited somebody in. And so it's totally independent. We give them some categories, actually we've removed people's names and things like that, so it's judged on a level playing a playing field. So so they would get the information, they would come together and then score them. And we don't influence that at all. We just literally, it's all digitally done now, like our podcast today. So they go on a Teams call or Zoom call and they discuss it amongst themselves. We're not part of that. We just make sure that the equipment and the audio is sound and everything like that. And then they give us the shortlist, they give us the winners, and that's all totally independent from TPI.
Brilliant. Okay, it sounds like a huge amount to organise, though.
It is. We have a very, very good team. There's a lot to do in terms of also booking, and the table planning is always my thing. I do. Yeah, everybody wants a good seat, and we like to think there are no bad seats within the dining room itself. But someone needs to sit somewhere, and it has to be there will be tables at the back. But this is why we put on really good entertainment that engages the whole room. I'm not sure if you were there last year, Brian. I'm sure
last year, but I'm there this year, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have Chrissy's coming back, our host there, and she works the room. She gets the people at the back totally engaged, and she's doing little games here and there. Nothing, that's nothing too serious. So it's all about having fun on the day as well.
Thanks, fabulous. I look forward to it, actually. What's actually going to happen on the night? What can guests expect this year? Is there anything you want to talk about to do with that?
Well, being the Great Gatsby, I was thinking of putting some, little things in place that when you come in, I'm not gonna tell you guys because I just want to live the element surprise as people turn up in their refineries and but they're because of the Gatsby theme, we're gonna put something together, a host of entertainment together that would fit into that brief, I think. But lots to look forward to, lots and lots to look forward to. So, the dinner and ceremony would take place between 7:30ish until about 10, and then from 10 to 12, it's all free time to network, chill, take part in some of the entertainment.
Just to finish off then, we've talked about the awards. What else is on the horizon for 2024 for you and for TPI?
Oh, TPI, we've got so much going on. In May, we've got our annual seminar taking place at the Q2 Conference Centre. The early bird tickets, I have to say this, early bird tickets ends tomorrow if anybody wants to catch any of those. And I think we've still got a few sponsorship spaces left if anybody wants those. But yes, do come along. wide range of issues being talked about, topics and workshop lights and things like that. And then we've got the annual conference in October. That's always at the in central London as well on the 24th of October. And then we go and see we take the show on the road with our regionals. So we have small regionals across the country. So Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham, Southampton, another one in London in December. Yes. And yes, everything's on the TPI and the IRPM and the ARMA website at the moment, but with TPI launching and rebranding hopefully by the end of March. With hopefully no problems there, hopefully, but but we are relaunching, rebranding, and hopefully the next time we speak to you, Brian, we will be fully fledged TPIs.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the conference last year, certainly from a sponsor's point of view, was fabulous. I thought it was very well attended and very well put together. And actually, we spoke to, I think, way more people than we ever thought we could. So it was good. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. And also, I just want to finish off by saying thank you for sponsoring, obviously, the conference and the ACE Awards. And I look forward to seeing you and the team there.
Yeah, just looking forward to it. Okay, thank you very much for coming on. That's been great. Thanks very informative. Thanks.
Thank you.